when I went to Tranmere, Frank promised me that as soon as John Clayton was sold, I would be straight in the side, and he was true to his word. And then things just went well, whether I got the confidence, even though we weren't playing in a top team at the time. And the goals started flowing, and then more fans started turning up, and the crowds were getting bigger. And then it boosts your confidence even more, especially when they're singing your name all the time. And just went on to great things, and I really enjoyed my time at the club.
I've got to ask you about a couple more things before we wrap up, because you do mention the Anglo-Italian Cup in the book, and the Anglo-Italian Cup is something that I'm absolutely fascinated in, because I was far too young to watch it or to go to Italy at the time. But just thinking of Tranmere in a European competition is remarkable in itself. How balmy were those trips to Italy?
I can't go on about them too much. Yeah, they're good experience. But I mean, the Anglo-Italian Cup was that wasn't a massive thing to play in. When we played away, there was not many supporters turning up, and we had the odd, obviously because of the travel and everything. I didn't expect a big crowd following us all the way to Italy. But a good experience to play there. Some good stories, and you can read that in the book about Italy. And we played a few teams at home as well. But like I say, it wasn't a great interest for a lot of fans.
I also love Johnny Morrissey dobbing you in it here for the away game at Lecce. Now, I had Stevie Mungle talk about this story of how when Johnny King knocked on the door, it was opened, you were behind the door, and then ran out when he had his back turned, and he never found out you were in it until Johnny Morrissey dobbed you in it.
Well, that's true. We'd gone up, we'd been at dinner, and the manager said we weren't allowed to have any drink. All of a sudden, all the waiters come out with all these bottles of wine and everything, and they all disappeared. And I was the last one to go up, and I had half a bottle of wine in my hand. And the manager come over and he said, "What are you doing?" I says, "Oh, it's only off the table. I'm only having a glass." Oh, he said, "Okay, no worries." So I went upstairs and I seen the movement down the corridor, and walked into the room, and all the lads were in there with some of the fans drinking. And everybody left one by one. And like you say, there was a knock on the door. There was three of us left. Me, Johnny Morrissey and Steve Mungle. And knock on the door. I said, that's going to be the gaffer. We're knackered. So we just decided he must have been in such a rage when he walked in so quick. And I pulled the door, stood behind the door. He rushed in and caught Steve and John. And then Ronnie Moore walked in, and Kenny Jones. And I just slipped out the back, shut the door, and legged it and went into another room. I went into Gary Stevens' room and Chris Malkin. I said, "Pour me half a glass of wine, quick." So I had a small glass of wine. And he come in, he says, "You'll never guess, I've just caught your roommate with Steve Mungle down there, having a drink with some of the supporters." I just said, "I've been here all night, Gaffer." I said, "Out of order, I can't believe what they're up to." Anyway, Johnny come back, he was my teammate, and we went into, I knocked on the door, walked in. He says, how did you get out of that room?" I said, "Well, I just pulled the door. They all flew past me and I legged it and come up here." He says, "I've been fined £100. I said, "So you should be, you got caught."